Hi everyone, this is Woke Mommy from the Woke Mommy Chatter blog. I'm really excited to debut the first Woke Mommy podcast. If you're a mom, you'll know that it can be occasionally isolating between getting things done around the house, work, picking up the kids, taking them to and from their activities. There often isn't a lot of time for socializing and connecting with grown people. That's why those little interactions that you often have with other moms become so important, and why building your network of mom friends and your village is so essential. But it's not always easy. If you're an introvert like me, starting up those initial conversations can be hard. And if you're Black, on top of that, it's easy to feel that your race is adding another barrier, another layer, another dimension to you joining that mom clique. So I've gotten together with two other Black moms, Rochelle and Carla, to talk race, making mom friends, and as often happens when you get three moms together of any race, everything else. One thing to note, at the beginning of the discussion, I can't get my words out. I just don't know where to start and how to get it out. And you'll see just how difficult it is to articulate issues of race and perception, even with people who look like us. So here we go. Hope you enjoy. Hi, Rochelle.
Hi.
Rochelle's on the phone with us, and Carla's here.
Hi.
Hey, Carla. So I wanted to talk about, so my daughter is doing gymnastics, and she just started. And, of course, it's the same story over and over. We're the only Black family. There's actually one other Black mom, and her and I will chat. But, so I wanted to talk about this whole, do you guys, let's talk about Black women. And this, do you think that there is a kind of, I find people never talk to me. And I don't know if it's because I just have this, just don't engage, don't talk to me, just stay away from me kind of face. Or if there's more to it than that, right? Or if it's just
You mean people? You mean other Black women? Or
no,
just
other white moms. If you're in a group, I always find that the white moms, they're all together and they're kind of
because they feel like they have nothing to talk to you about. I think.
Do you think that's what it is?
I think they kind of look at. They look at although your motherhood does look a little different. I think I personally think that they just feel like there's really nothing to talk to you about. Not really nothing to talk to you about, but they don't see discussing even just the very basis of motherhood, just even talking about stuff like snacks for school and you know what I mean? They don't. It just looks very different. I think your motherhood looks very different to them.
I guess my question I always kind of go back to is there, I know that there's this kind of, I don't know what to call it. Is it intimidation factor, or is it just this idea of, I feel like Black men on a whole are more, people feel more at ease approaching them or talking to them than they do with Black women.
Well, so what I've noticed is, so my husband easily engages with the other dads. And I think because when guys are interacting, they don't really get really overly personal, right? It's kind of like, oh, wow, that kid's pretty skilled. And, oh, wow, your kid's pretty good. And then they talk about ball game. And then they, you know what I mean? Then they talk about news and politics. It's that kind of thing, right? Yeah. Whereas with moms, I find I have a similar experience in that unless I already knew someone, I'm not necessarily the one that someone's coming up to me and having a conversation. I will at times. I have to admit that at times I'm a little antisocial because I don't necessarily feel comfortable.
Yes, yeah.
So who knows? Maybe it's sometimes something on my face or whatever, but I will try my best. If I, notice something, then I'll engage, right? But I find that somebody will start talking to me because they're curious about something about my child.
Yeah. So
that's how they start.
Yeah. And that happens to me too. And I find, but I don't know, this gymnastics experience has been really interesting because this is our first this is our first like real gymnastics school, and so there are all these moms there, and they all look the same. They're all blonde and like their yoga pants and Starbucks. And there was one mom there who I recognized her because her kid goes to my kid's school, and I kept trying to like make eye contact to be like, hey, you know, like I see you, like you kids go to the same school, and she completely like just blanked. No, like form of recognition.
You know what? I find that happens too, and that's not even just like, you know, mom thing. There's a guy that lives in my building, and like, you know, white guy, and you know, we'll talk and have conversations and stuff. But when he's around other white people in front of the building, he won't talk. He pretends like he doesn't see me.
Well, that's like the work thing, right? Like, yeah,
feels like he doesn't see me.
That happens at work. So I remember growing up, my parents would talk about that. They would talk about it all the time, like about how, you know, they saw so and so and that person pretended not to see them, and they'll talk to you within a context or within the office kind of setting, and not outside of that. And it's funny because I was with a colleague of mine one day, and who was also Black, and we were walking in between buildings, and there was another colleague, a white colleague, who was walking past us, and then we were getting into the elevator at the same time, and basically just ignored us. And we worked on the same floor and everything. And I think like her and I didn't talk about it, but she must have been so pissed off. She just said, "Oh, hey." She's like, "Yeah, I see you." She's like, "Yeah, I know you can't talk to us when we're not in the office." Like she kind of called him out on it in a roundabout way, like not explicitly, but I mean, I thought it was really funny. But it is that kind of, it is similar when I find with a group of white moms, like it's like this kind of, I always feel a little bit like nobody wants to talk to me. Like they're all kind of talking to each other, but nobody. I'm just there.
Right? Yeah, I feel that like I definitely experience the same thing, and you know, I find also too, because I'm not always like, there are times I might be wearing workout stuff, but it's literally because I'm going to the gym. It's not because that's my
daily attire.
That's not my daily attire, right? Yeah. So it's either I'm going to go to the gym and I'm dropping my daughter off or something, or I've got work clothes on, right? And I'm going to go teach. So it's so there's a few things that I notice might be a barrier, but you're right. It is something I'm definitely conscious of, because I have thought about it, right? I'm like, is it because I'm wearing, you know, a dress and I look really dressy, and so they think, oh, like, I can't connect with you? Is it because I'm Black? Is it because, you know, I don't know. I think there's also, like, especially where we are, if there's going to be a Black parent, there's not normally another Black parent with them. It's normally like a mixed couple.
Right.
So my husband always says that we're kind of like dinosaurs. Like we're kind of like this rarity where we're actually a Black couple.
Yeah,
in our small town. So that's also it too, and it's a weird thing. Like I just find navigating the world can be just so.
Well, you're always kind of self-questioning, right? Like you're always
second-guessing yourself.
You're always second-guessing, and wondering like, is it because I'm Black, or is it like what's going on here? How do I read this situation?
Yeah. The other thing that I noticed too is, so my daughter was the only Black girl on her soccer team, and then there was another Black family that moved into our town, and they're in the same grade at the same age, so we became fast friends. And so their daughter came out and made the team, and so but we were friends anyway. Like the kids. Because the kids were in the same grade, like, you know, so not only is their daughter the same age as my daughter, but their youngest daughter is the same age as my littlest one, my 4-year-old. So we had a lot in common, right? And then we're both Black, living in this white town. And so it was also that we have been here longer, so we were able to kind of help them navigate through living in this whiteness, what it's like kind of thing. You know, we were conscious about the fact that if we were talking to each other, that people were watching us, or that people thought, oh, you know.
But then there's the thing, though, is that because when you're there, nobody wants to talk to you. But then when you're talking to each other now you're self-segregating. So what do you want to happen?
And that happens in the workforce too. Like I always find, like, especially in your situation where there's not a lot of Black people where you're working, when you develop a friendship with another Black colleague, it is kind of like, oh, we can't talk too long because you don't want people, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like this, I don't know what that is. Or
I think honestly it stems from slavery, because you didn't want the slaves congregating. Exactly, you don't want the slaves congregating with each other. But you know what's funny?
I know that it makes them uncomfortable, for sure.
What are they plotting?
That's it.
What are they plotting?
I remember when I used to work in Toronto, and where I used to work, you know, there were a good amount of us, not like huge, but in one place it was a good amount. And so, you know, there's times where, we would end up I start talking with one Black person, and of course another Black person comes over, and all of a sudden there's like 5 of us talking, right? Mm-hmm. And we were very conscious that, you know, someone would walk by, and then all of a sudden, you know, a manager or somebody would come up and be like, so what's up, guys? And so we used to always laugh and go, oh, we're just plotting the demise of this office, and we'd laugh, right? And then you see the look of horror on their face when they're like, is everything okay? Like, do you have a complaint to make? And
we're like, gosh.
Joking.
You talk to HR?
You know? Like, I know that they are very conscious of it, but I'm also very conscious of it.
Exactly.
And I've gotten to a point now where I just don't care. Like, I'm having a great conversation, and you know what? I don't really get out much, so...
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Like, I don't care. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't care. Like, I'm going to talk to who I want to talk to, and I don't really care what anyone else thinks. And why should I? Like, it's ridiculous that you feel that you have, you know, some type of way about talking to another person that looks like you. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? It's like you said, there's a lot of, I guess, history there.
Yeah.
But,
and because you know what, with me, honestly, growing up, my parents always kind of told me, like, don't talk to too many Black people. Don't have too many Black friends.
That's right.
So growing up, I never talked to two, and I grew up in Jane and Finch, and people have this misconception Jane and Finch is full of Black people. It's not. There's actually over 160 different nationalities of people in Jane and Finch. Yeah. And I didn't talk to very many Black people because of this warning my parents gave me. So it's only now as an adult, and we're talking about stuff like finding your tribe, and you know what I mean? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, it's literally like a whole new world for me talking to Black people.
You're right. And we obviously have very similar experiences because I grew up in the same area, but my high school and my elementary school was like 95% Italian.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was always the only Black kid.
Fluent in Italian.
Yes.
I took heritage class. It was called heritage class twice a week or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was always the only Black kid, and then I got older and the area started to diversify, the schools started to diversify a little bit. That was always something that my parents would say to me.
Yeah, like, my parents always told me to go, like,
stay away from
going to the store.
Kids.
Like, you know, don't follow them into the store because you know you're all going to get in trouble. But it was always a constant warning: don't talk to too many Black people.
But it's funny because that is not how I am raising my kids. Like, I want them to have Black friends, and I want them, and I think that whether they're Black or white, like, of course you have to be concerned with, like, the caliber of the character and that kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. But that is regardless of Black or white. Right. But I think it's like, but it's this older kind of generation mentality of you don't want to be around too many Black people. Like, it kind of brings you down, you know? It makes people think less of you. And so I have been grappling with that for a long time, and I'm at that point now where it's like, I don't care. And I feel like it's not, you have the same experience, the three of us sitting here have similar experiences, and I know that I've worked with people where I've met other Black people who have that same experience, and I think that's where some of that barrier comes from, is particularly Black women. Yeah. There's like a kind of like, it's almost like a glass wall
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, sis. Yeah. You're not in here to see him. Hey, sis. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, it's true.
But I think we're living in a time now. It's exciting because we're kind of breaking that down, and there's a lot more solidarity. I think, which is great.
There needs to, especially in a time like this. Yeah, there needs to be.
Well, it's that we are looking for our tribe. We're looking for that community. I know when I was a kid, because we all lived closer together, it wasn't hard. My cousins all lived nearby, like everybody all lived close by, and so we, as a family even, we used to get together a lot more and spend more time together. And then, then people started moving out, right? I'm one of them. I moved way out, right? And so then it's also just seeking that connection, right? And I think for me, for my kids, it's really important that we make it into Toronto, that we expose them to culture, to expose them to meet other Black kids, and just to be able to feel that sense of community, even if we don't necessarily have it where we live, right? To know that you can connect to something and tap into something, especially when you need it.
And it's funny when you do take them into the city. Like we took my son to get his hair cut. And he walked in and he's like, why is everyone here brown? And he says brown because he doesn't understand. If he was younger, he doesn't understand he's Black. And why is everyone here brown? Like, well, because we're in a Black neighborhood. Like this is what it's like. Like everyone here looks like you. But it was just so perplexing for him. Like it was so out of the norm for him, but it was very obvious. But there's also, I guess, a level of comfort that he would get from that, too. That experience.
Yeah.
We really need to get more comfortable around our own people.
Right?
We need to get so much more comfortable around our own people.
Yeah, we do.
I think you have to find you have to find who's right for you to click with.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking I want my children to hang around quality.
That's right.
Quality people.
Yeah.
Right.
Quality people, especially quality people that look like them. Quality people of color.
Yeah. And I think that's what's the difference between, I guess, us and maybe how our parents would have viewed things, right?
Exactly.
Because for them, quality meant white.
Exactly. For them, quality meant white.
Quality means good character, with values, and morals. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that is different for everybody, and that's what's beautiful about it, because the things that I might be looking for may not be what somebody else is looking for. As they say in Jamaica, every dog got in stick a bush.
Yes.
Right? So what I might be looking for is not necessarily what somebody else is looking for. And so just because you and I don't vibe doesn't mean that, you're not going to still be able to find your tribe elsewhere, and it just really, it's just become so much more important, especially when, as I said, like when your home is your sanctuary, you also want your friends to be your sanctuary too. You want your kids to have people that they can talk to and know that they will have a similar lived experience, where you don't have to voice certain things or explain the background to be able to get to the place where you need the advice, right?
Yes.
You need to be able, they need to have those people that they can tap into, especially when you've made choices for them to move out of the city.
When you say, you want your friends to be your sanctuary, that's me clapping. Yes. That's so true. And I think that's what I'm talking about, where that's where that peace comes from, of being able to just relax, and not... I have a friend who we grew up... I mean, I love her. She's one of my best friends, and we've traveled together, and we grew up together since we were 10 years old. Our parent, we were in each other's house. We just were friends, right? But I remember talking to her about she's white. Her family is Eastern European, and we were having I think it was around the time when Khloe Kardashian was wearing those Bantu knots, and there was all this discussion around appropriation. And I was talking to her about it and just trying to explain to her why I was so offended. And I remember her, she just didn't. She didn't get it, and completely invalidated how I was feeling. But the fact to me that it was just, I've known this, and we were talking about different experiences, and she said something to me, well, you haven't experienced any of that. And it was like, well, we may have grown up together, and we may have gone to the same school, but my experiences are completely different. And I think for me, it was like one of the first times I actually realized how you can be really good friends with someone, but still live like parallel lives almost, right?
Yes.
Whereas when it's another Black person, there's like an understanding because they're going through the same thing.
I'm only learning that now. It's only since, the rise of the internet and being on the internet is that I'm only just learning that so many other, like I told you, growing up, like it was just kind of don't talk to too many Black people. Yeah. So it's only now since like even in being like, BMC and, that and just seeing like just even certain like memes pop up like like around like Black people and Black culture and stuff. I didn't realize that so many Black people had the same experiences that I did growing up. It's like, oh my gosh, really? Like, I didn't know that I could talk to them.
Yeah,
I didn't know that I could talk to them. This is just as an adult now that I'm really like, oh I experienced that. Yeah, it happened to me. Yeah, my parents used to say that. Yeah, like I didn't realize any of that until now as an adult.
Wouldn't that have saved like so
that would have saved so much
stress and anxiety?
So that's where we'll leave our podcast for today, right there, on the fact that Black moms, white moms, Asian moms, all moms, we just need to talk to each other more. We need to learn more about each other, regardless of race. Don't forget to subscribe to the Woke Mommy Chatter podcast to get updates and automatic downloads of new podcasts once they're uploaded. Please log into the Play Store or iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts to like and rate this podcast so I know how we're doing. You can also follow the Woke Mommy Chatter blog at www.wokemommychatter.com. Follow me on Twitter at Woke Mommy, on Instagram, and follow along the conversation on Facebook at Woke Mommy Chatter. If you'd like to get in touch, please email me, share your ideas, drop me a line at wokemommychatter@gmail.com. Thanks, everyone. Stay woke.